Good morning. Take two. Okay, good morning. This is Live with Joan. We're here in beautiful, sunny Santa Clarita. It's finally sunny after weeks of all sorts of weather. And let's see, we have a special guest today, and we are doing, we can show this guest who's waiting for the cats. She's a seat filler for the Oscars. Yeah, she's a seat filler for the guest. So anyway, we have lots of things coming up. We just started the Animals in Transition Fundamentals, and that class, I have to tell you, it's going to be very powerful. We're very excited about it. Wasn't that a great class?
It was a great class.
Yeah.
Great class. I'm still so grateful because they got to communicate with one of my dogs that has passed, and it was just powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the spring intensive, and we have the acupressure this weekend, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So
Shannon Meyer says, hi, Penelope. Leah says, yay, much better sound. Yeah, we're using my phone.
Yeah.
Because there's hey
stuck in my in the speaker.
Hay and mud and other stuff stuck in your speaker.
There's a lot of stuff in my speaker. So anyway, we are using a different phone. Might even be a better camera. So let's see, what else do we? So we have the acupressure weekend coming up this weekend. We have the spring intensive, 3 days of animal communication, 3 days of EFT, and 3 days of animal communication sanctuaries. And then we have AC level 1, and we have energy healing for animals. AC level 1 at the end of April, energy healing for animals in May, and then, and who's here?
Let me see. Okay, so Danielle Van Amsterdam is back. Shannon is here. Hi, now we can hear. Shannon says AIT Fundamentals is amazing. It was amazing. Danielle, there's comments that are showing up on... Okay, so I have to wait for them to show up in real time on my computer. Sorry.
Okay. But if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And that is a school where you can learn animal communication, energy healing, or get certified as an animal communicator or energy healer. And you can also learn about nature and wildlife and acupressure. Yes.
Elle O'Brien says, yay, you're back. Can't wait to someday tell you an awesome story of getting a sign to keep hanging out with Joan's community. Amazing.
Oh,
okay,
cool.
Now I want to know.
Yeah, why can't you tell us? Anyway, so, anything else?
Craig Walker says, yay, that you're back.
Good morning, Craig. And good evening, Danielle. And is Leslie Williams here?
No.
This is weird.
This is very weird.
I hope she's okay.
Yeah. Lori Jodar says, I'm back too. Hi, Lori.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Good evening and good night.
Good night. Good evening and good night, yes.
Shannon says, I like the sign above your head, Jill and Joan.
Yeah, we've been filming, so that's our special guest. We'll bring her on here in a second. But we have lots of fun things. If you want to, if it's time for you to finally jump in, Shannon can talk to you, and she'll put her email address in there, and we've got lots of links for upcoming things. And the Spring Intensive, I can't say enough about how much fun the Spring Intensive is, and we still have room in person, and we still have room online, and in person, we can set up roommates. There's all sorts of ways to do it. People share cars, and so it's lots of fun.
Okay. Ella Bryan says it's too long for typing out.
Okay, I hear you, especially if you're typing with your thumbs. Okay. All right. So our guest today is Dr. Jill Todd.
And you can move in, Jill,
Where was that one?
to where Penelope is. Move her out.
Yeah, move. Yeah, you gotta move. There you go.
Can I have this space?
No.
Okay, maybe we could share it?
Oh my God.
Okay, she'll share.
Well, that's good. Anyway, so we're here because we're filming a physiology class, and we have an acupressure weekend.
We do, and it is going to be
Very fun.
FN phenomenal.
We did it last year, and it was so great. And you're in it.
What
You're
this?
taking the class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we still have 1 or 2 spots too.
Yeah, we have a couple spots.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe you could explain what acupressure is.
No, I'm getting mugged by this dog over here. I might not be able to. So,
Yeah.
acupressure.
I want to take a picture. Where's the
Acupressure
picture?
Here's
is
your
when
phone.
a cute dog
Here's your
pushes
phone.
you on your stomach 2 point right here. And you get instant love, which is really what acupressure is all about. It's a form of acupuncture. Puncture is needles. Pressure, there's pressure with your fingers or thumbs or dog noses, right? Or dolphin noses, right?
Yeah.
So acupressure is what I call kind of the layman's acupuncture, or the poor man's acupuncture, or the non-doctor acupuncture, right? So anyone can do it. I teach children and dogs. Well, actually, they know how to do it. They teach me. It's super simple, and it's so easy, and it's so energetic. And it just, I mean, it's amazing. I do acupressure on myself every day, all the time. I teach it to people every day, all the time. Even if they don't speak English, I can teach them and show them one of my favorite points, stomach 23, which heals everything. And if you can just play with that point a little bit and breathe, because you got to breathe. Sometimes I forget to breathe, especially if I'm mugging.
Everybody, so where is stomach?
Stomach 36. Did I say
36.
23? If I did, sorry, I haven't had enough
I was
caffeine
almost-
yet.
I think I was just.
I'll
gonna
get
say
my sexy
23.
leg over here. Ugh. Knee,
These are nice.
ankle. Thank you. They're reptilian, but they're vegan. It's right here on the outside.
Okay, so I just have to jump in with what Shannon said because
Oh God.
hi, Dr. Jill. You have to see these two ladies together. They are magical, hysterical, and full of knowledge. Yes, you will see.
Lots of laughter,
Yes.
lots of fun, and lots of learning. So see where my thumb is? Here's my knee. If you do 4 fingers down.
I'm going to bring
from
it
the
down
knee-
for people to see.
All right, so
And
this
then
is
roll
really
to the
important.
outside.
Let's go back to the knee and the
Here, can I
forefinger.
put my foot, like, just prop it on you?
Oh, for crying out loud.
G-S, hi. Right here. 4 fingers down. Roll it to the outside. There's a big hole right here. You can't miss it. Just play with it. You'll
And-
find it.
You know, it's
When you
great.
find it, you'll go, wah! It effing hurts, especially if you have back pain or leg pain or knee pain.
Just so you know, she's not cussing, and normally we have some F-bombs by now.
I was told no F-bombs.
Not on the Facebook Live. We are in the physiology class.
So I can do an F-bomb if I have
You
to.
already did yesterday.
Fuck.
No, you can't hear.
Fook! Sorry. Beep. So this is stomach 36, the most amazing, energetic, easy point that anybody can find, okay? If you're a dog, this is a stifle. If you're a horse, it's a stifle. If it's a cat, it's a stifle. If it's a person, it's a knee.
And what's great about this too is, I'll tell you, this is something we did a lot of. When you go on a trip, sometimes you have trouble.
You trip.
We did not.
I mean, fall down.
Okay,
Not
whichever.
psychedelic.
All right, whichever one it was. When you go on a trip, sometimes you have to share a room with someone, and you don't always go to the bathroom. And so everybody did this point because it stimulates.
Oh, I thought you were trying to avoid a urinary tract infection.
No.
It's really good for the immune system, too.
No. Wait, oh my goodness. All right, should we just
Is that like a Kegel point or
let,
what?
oh my god. Look. This is when I become like, I can be out there and wacky, but I'm suddenly in this duo, the straight man.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Shannon just put, so fucking funny.
Okay, so maybe you could explain a little bit about how you got into acupuncture.
So I got into acupuncture back in the 90s.
Because you were a Western medicine
Yeah,
vet.
I was Western medicine vet. Where I went to school at Texas A&M University, Gigabags, they didn't have any kind of alternative. I learned acupuncture on a racehorse, how to put like vitamin B12 in their back, and that was 1 second of acupuncture. And the rest they said was woo-woo, and it didn't work, and it was fairy tales and ancient blah blah that doesn't work anymore. And I just never had any really introduction to it. It was not taught to me. I had no idea what it was. It was Chinese. So I had a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and she had a back problem, and it got worse and worse, and she was having difficulty walking. And I did all the Western medicine things. I did an MRI. I personally didn't, but I had my classmates who were surgeons do MRIs, surgery, and after the surgery, she got worse instead of better, like a lot worse. She couldn't walk. And so I found an amazing acupuncturist just up the road from me who taught me some points, handed me a box of needles, gave me a little chart with a diagram, showed me how to do it. I did it, and she said, good luck, God bless you, don't call me to do anymore because I'm a surgeon, I don't have time for this. But if you figure it out, I'd love to refer people to you. And I was like, okay, sure. Went home with my needles, poked my dog, Tally Ho, best dog in the whole world. She got me through vet school and acupuncture school, which was effing amazing. And did it 3 times a week, every other day. And the points that I had no idea what they were just a little map on the body. And she was walking. 2 more weeks later, she was going up steps a little bit. About 6 weeks later, I had my dog back. I had my dog back. For 3 years, I had that dog that I would have had to send over the Rainbow Bridge. And then I decided I had to go to school and learn what I was doing because I had no idea what I was doing. None whatsoever, but I knew it really worked. And it gave me my dog that I wouldn't have had.
That's amazing. It's always, I feel like it's always an animal that gets us, makes us do these next transition, these milestone things that we do. I mean, sometimes people do, but for the most part, at least the people I hang out with, there's some animal that got them to do this, got them to do that. I was saying, I have this PR guy for the book, right? Yesterday when I went to go drop books off, and I don't know how this came up, but I said, most people in the 90s, horsewomen, would try acupuncture only because it worked on their horse. Right? And then we watched in the 2000s. Yeah. So horsewomen really did it before dog people did.
Yeah.
And then dog people started in the early 2000s. But if they saw it work on their animals, then they went and did it.
Right. For sure.
And I had seen it work on myself because I had, when my sister died in '86, I had a lot of grief, and I was going to a grief counselor, but I also I knew, somehow I just energetically got that the body and that it worked together. So I did grief counseling, energy healing, and acupuncture, 1 a week for years, right? Like I'd go to the grief counselor 1 week, the energy healer the next week, the acupuncturist the next week, and just rotated. That's how I do everything. When I got, when I had my incident where I noticed my hand, same thing. Acupuncture 1 week, Rolfing the next week. It's just, I'll just pile it on. And if I go to therapy, I'm going to a energy healer. But the thing I love about acupuncture is it is, to me, and we say this all the time, I say it all the time because I feel like EFT is the same. It's on the acupressure points. It's an energetic body work, and animals don't have the same expression that people do, so body work becomes that much more important for them to be able to express mentally, physically, emotionally what's going on for them. What are the comments? Did everybody have some sort of an experience with their...
Ella O'Brien had 2 emojis, the sobbing emoji and the crying emoji when Jill was talking about Tally Ho. Leah Pancheri says that's amazing, that story. And Leah says, learning acupressure is on my list for sure. And Ella Bryan says, I think it's on mine now too. It's funny that you brought up the horse girls used acupuncture because it worked on their horses.
Right.
Same thing with other, like homeopathy. People.
Yeah, but the 90s really was, it was the Wild West for things that people would try with horses. And just as an animal communicator, I watched the trend, right? It was the horse people that always try it first. Then it's the dog people.
Mm-hmm.
And the cat people just because otherwise it's Edward Scissorhands. But, it's amazing. Just a little jet fuel to get through the day.
Ella Bryan says she's crying in joy. And Agnes says, hello, Joan and Claudia.
Good morning, Agnes.
Good morning, Agnes. I am so glad I'm able to join today. So nice to meet you, Dr. Jill.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
You would love Agnes.
Yes.
Where's Agnes from?
She lives in Canada.
Ooh, you're
And
coming next year, Agnes.
She's in the big program, and it's so amazing to me. Like, Leah's in medical intuition. Agnes is in, I think, behavior. I mean, it's just, people are flying through it. You
Well,
flew
speaking
through
of behavior, that is one of the things that acupressure and acupuncture is so good at. Unlike Western medicine, who doesn't
Right.
even cover behavior, right? I mean,
You're doing behavior as thing that drugs.
Yeah. So, the emotions are so real. And using acupressure or acupuncture, and I can teach you. I like a kangaroo.
Someone knocked on the door. Wait, you keep talking.
Anyway, so one of the things that I love about acupressure and acupuncture is that it helps with emotions. It can help you if you have a dog that is really anxious, has behavior issues, has PTSD, fear. So many dogs, like from rescue worlds, and it doesn't have to be a dog, it can be a cat, it can be an iguana, it can be a horse, it can be a bird, right? Any animal that has issues, whether it be exuberant energy, right? That exuberant energy, having to bring that down and get that grounded. There's points for that. There's points for everything, right? And you just have to figure out which animal, which points work the best. It's kind of a little bit of trial and error. But when I teach this class, what I've done is I made it so simple so that everyone can learn. I mean, you have to speak a little bit of English. Other than that, you can learn. I have a little Espanol. But all you got to do is look, find, touch, and breathe. Gotta breathe. Then I can help you help your animals. And not only that, but I'll help you heal yourself too. So many of my people, when we were doing the very first acupressure course, did some points, and they were like, oh my God, Dr. Jill, I just got rid of that migraine I've had for 3 days. Doing LI4 and breathing, right?
We were talking about that point yesterday.
Yeah.
I just want to say that you're going to be treating my dog today.
I am. I'm excited. That's going to be fun.
For something that the advanced animal communication class picked up on. I'm not going to share anything because I'm going to talk about it at another time, but the advanced animal communication class picked up on something that it could be contributing to a behavior. And it just so happened that Dr. Jill was going to be in town, so I immediately filled out the form to have Dr. Jill.
She sunk it in like in 2 seconds.
To have Dr. Jill treat my dog. So Ella Bryan says, I have been working with an anxious dog with some success. I would love to learn acupressure for her. Oh, and
I would love to teach you.
And I have to say, the acupressure classes being offered by Jill and Joan Healing are amazing because you guys make it so practical and easy to do that, like you said, when you started with your dog, you didn't know exactly what you were doing, but it was working.
Right.
And then you just learn. And
yeah, and it's just learning the flow of energy, right? That's all it is the flow of energy and being grounded, right? You got to ground yourself first. We do a big meditation before we start. We bring the energy into our hands. We do a little qigong, right? Get that energy to your fingers. Get your roots in your chakra, either chakra 1 or through your feet. Ground deep into that earth and then heal. And we have fun. We learn it mostly on dogs and cats in the class because it's a little hard sometimes. We've had a couple horses in the class. Shannon, of course, always has a good horse that's colicking or something, and we can all work on as a group too. So we do group acupressure to help other animals heal, you know, and that is super fun. You know, I mean, it's just amazing how much healing we do just in our classes. And then you can watch them over and over again. Shauna is coming from Australia. She's our intern this year, and Melly is our intern. She's coming next year. And it's really cool that we have an intern coming from Australia just to meet us so that we can do even more. And she watched those videos again and again and again and again. And she is amazing because she listened. And she did. I don't know how many animals she has. She's like a jumbo. She's got like 5 horses, 3 dogs, 20 cats.
Who's this?
Shauna, that's coming from Australia.
Oh, right.
I mean, and it's just been amazing how she's helped them transition, how she's helped some of them with anxiety issues, getting along when you have a big herd like that, behavior issues. And it was just amazing because she had no, at least as far as I know, she didn't have any medical knowledge before that. You know, I mean, she wasn't a technician or anything like that as far as having that background. She came with some energy healing background of some Reiki, I think is what she had done before, right? But it was just amazing being able to teach these students and then hearing back from them and seeing them progress and seeing them learn and then seeing them want more and want more and want more. Because the more you learn, the more you figure out you need to learn. Right, with any
Tanya
path.
has said that she wants to get certified, and the only thing left to do for Tanya is OM.
And then physiology.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Tanya, one more.
So, speaking of that, Agnes wants to know, when are you teaching, and is it in person or distance? So, this weekend is in person only.
And then 5 Elements starts on the 17th.
Yeah, Friday, 17th, I believe.
And that goes for 5 weeks. And then after that is Yin and Yang. So that would start in May. And that goes for 5 weeks. And then she takes the summer off. And then OM starts September 13th, I think. And that's 12 weeks.
Yeah, September something. That's the biggie.
Whatever that Saturday is.
Friday.
I mean Friday. Saturday is the one Marie Christine does.
Subtle energies.
Because we're starting those.
So yeah, our classes are Friday mornings, 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Via Zoom.
Via Zoom. And then we do have digital classes too. So for those that don't have that time that work, they're recorded too. So if you can't make it or you have to leave early, you can always watch the recording. There's also other recordings, so you can watch last year's recording and learn from them as well. Because each class is a little different, and it's pretty cool.
So there's the answer. Yes, some classes are in person, some classes are held live on Zoom, and some are digital classes that you could do at your own pace. And you could find those.
JillandJoan.com.
There you go.
JillandJoan.com.
Or on the Joan Ranquet website, it has a link to that, right?
The digital, yeah.
Yeah, the digital.
But you can't find the hemp products on my site.
Correct.
Oh, we're going to talk about hemp products a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, you know what I would love for you. So we're filming. We wrote the physiology class in May in Mexico.
Almost a year ago.
Was that already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's really fun. And the reason it's fun is because, well, we're fun, but also because, I'm 3 credits shy of a PhD in energy medicine, and what are those 3 credits? They're all science credits. And you got kicked in the head during physiology, right?
Yeah, I did. It was horrible. Oh my God.
By a horse.
Oh my God.
Right here. And I had to take my physiology test even though I was like practically comatose because they didn't have at that time, all these things for concussion protocol and this and that. And my professor was like 110 years old and had the little bow tie and he's like, you can take it. And I'm like barely seeing out of my eyes, black and blue. And I'm like, I don't know if I can see the boxes to circle and put that. And he's like, you'll be fine.
So she says that physiology was a blur for her.
It was.
And
still is.
What? We're powering through it. But it's actually really, we made it very fun, our little digital class. It'll be available in the summer.
I can vouch for that because I'm filming it, and it is awesome.
And what we did an energetic anatomy also.
Right? That was pretty fun too.
It's very fun. That was 4 years ago.
Wow.
That was-
before COVID.
That was January 2019, which is when I started working for Communication with All Life University. So,
And Jill and Joan.
and Jill and Joan. It's
It's a
4
journey.
years. Yeah.
So I've got eyelashes that are stuck together. Hold on.
You do. You have a
That's
big
true.
hunk of something right there.
That's driving me crazy.
You want me to do some surgery?
Yeah.
Seriously? Yeah.
Okay, you guys are all getting
This is a good
glimpse.
acupressure point too, if you'd like to know about
Do
triple
I
year
have
2030.
a lump there too?
We've got a big hunk there. Sorry. Okay.
Oh my
Chin.
welcome to Jill and Joan, people. This is what it's like working with
I'm
them.
part of the Gibbons Center
Don't
here. I'm just
pick
gonna
my
pick
nose.
all. Hopefully you didn't see my butt there.
But there's still something here. Anyway.
Yeah, your finger.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
Wipe my eyes and see if I can get mascara smeared all over me too.
Okay, so anyway, we also have hemp products, and maybe you could. One of the things that we've spoken together at events, and we put together this whole PowerPoint about how the ECS system
Endocannabinoid system.
was taken out of the medical books in the 40s, and it's a really it's as important as any other system of the
It's
body.
more important. It controls all the other systems. It is the system of the systems, and they held that from us, right? It was withheld due to political BS, which is BS, right?
Yeah, so we have receptor sites throughout our body where we actually we need hemp.
We do. Our body actually makes cannabinoids on its own. They're called endocannabinoids, and those are the ones that are actually in your system. But when your body is depleted due to stress, an accident, injury, and disease processes, you don't get enough of those, and your system gets out of whack. In other words, it goes out of homeostasis, and then everything kind of shuts down, right? So by using hemp, you can decrease inflammation, decrease anxiety, help with seizures. I mean, I can list probably at least 50 things that they've tested in humans that CBD helps with. And right now there's 14 peer-reviewed journals from veterinary schools for animals, which is really exciting. When we started,
Yeah.
there was one
There was
in
one.
the making.
And it
In
was,
the making.
wasn't it Cornell? And it
Yeah,
was
it's
like
at
we were
Cornell.
waiting forever for that. And so we started this in 2018, right before you started working, and it was no man's land.
It was a journey, Wild West,
Yeah.
and it still is the Wild West. The FDA can't figure out what the hell they want to call it, right?
Yeah.
It's not a supplement. It's not a drug. It's CBD, and
And
we love it.
Yeah, we love it.
Oh yeah, I use it.
Can we talk about the salve a
Cheers.
little?
I use it for every
Shit.
call came into my phone. So
Sorry about the butt. The butt.
okay, I have a story
No one's
about.
got it.
Oh, no wonder I couldn't smell anything. I thought it was my sinuses. Can I rip this baby off? Good.
I have a story about
You gotta
that
kinda-
salve,
You gotta kind of break it in a little bit too.
and it smells heavenly.
Speaking of sinuses, I'm gonna put it on my large intestine point right here. Can I tell a story about the large intestine point?
Mhm.
No. Okay, can you hold it?
Oh, I know that I love this story. Okay,
Wow,
Penelope,
good.
stop.
Speaking of snot and sinuses, so right here, this was one of the first points I learned, maybe the second point I learned, or the second week when I was at acupuncture school.
Oh.
And I came home and I had a cat presented to me from another veterinarian, and it had a dental and it was not healing well post dental surgery. And this cat was just full of snot. It was the grossest thing you've ever seen. It lost 5 pounds. It was just a mess. And the first thing the lady does is says, "Please don't tell Dr. blah, blah, blah I'm here because we're friends at church and we don't want them to know, but we hear you do acupuncture. Could you help our cat?" And I'm like, "Who told you I do acupuncture? I'm like still just learning, right? I'm not certified yet." And I said, "Well, I would love to try. I can't charge you because I'm not certified and I'm still learning, but let's try. And I put 2 needles, actually one here, so large intestine point, and then also yin tongue, which is your third eye, and probably one up here. The cat leaned over the table like this, and the snot just freaking drained out. It was the grossest, most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And everyone was just floored. Their mouths were open. They were watching this actually happen. I was too, and I'm going, what the F did I do? I mean, I opened the snot drain, right? It was just coming out, and that's what it needed to happen, right? And you can do that with just your fingers, right?
Yeah, actually, one of the things with Francesca that I absolutely love is she's had upper respiratory in addition to thyroid stuff, and it's been a lot. And anyway, one of our routines, she had a whole asthma thing, so we had she had asthma for about 1.5 years, from the beginning of COVID until about 6 months ago. So we did the lung meridian, little sweep every day, and then I always ended right here, and she does this. So
I've seen her do it.
3 little breaths here.
It's
and then,
so cute. And her little whiskers, like,
yeah. So she loves this point, and then I move out. That's her. We do it 100 times a day.
When you left for Africa and left, and
I showed you that.
I was doing it on her, and it is pretty cute. She does do the, yeah.
She is, yeah.
And it's like her whole body just goes.
Did you use the salve?
No.
Did you just do the finger points?
Yeah.
The salve,
Put the
though.
salve on it. It just adds even more energy, you
I was
know?
too worried about the smell being that close to her nose. I always put it here, and I do these
The
points.
stomach 2 point and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That's salve. I got 3rd-degree burns on my fingers. Remember that, Joan? When I burned I forgot how I burned it. Now I can't. Oh, in the oven or something. I can't remember. And I came here and I showed Joan, and she was like, it was bad. She put the salve on and I covered it. And the next day, like, first of all, it stopped hurting. And then it healed and I have no scars. I'm trying to remember how I burned my hand, but it just healed. That's my go-to.
Energy in a jar. It's amazing.
It's incredible.
Really amazing.
Do you want to tell the first time we tried it?
Oh my God.
The best story. So we go to AAEP, which is the National Association of Equine Practitioners.
And we were, like, definitely the witches there.
We were, yeah, you should have seen the old Bubbas coming up to me and going, "You're about that cannabis stuff?"
Our booth was, people were piling
All
in.
the people were there. It was so great. But we were hauling stuff. I drove my car with Vixie Elizabeth from Seattle down to California because I had the loot. I had all the CBD in my car, right? And at that time, well, still at this time, it's illegal to transport CBD across state lines because the FDA is so messed up, right? So I'm like doing this illegally. Please don't tell anyone.
Weird. You just told a bunch of people.
No cops. Okay. Anyway, so I brought it down. So of course my back is sore because I'm in this little car with all this stuff kind of crammed in, and I zipped as fast as I could to get down to San Francisco, right?
And I drove up to San Francisco.
And we're hauling stuff up and down the steps, and it's all concrete below, right? And we're on this concrete, cold, freaking floor. My back hurt like so bad.
And I had just flown in from China.
Oh,
I was
that's right.
teaching animal communication in China. I literally had just flown in, drove to San Francisco, and I had to drive back to fly out to Kenya for my first Kenya trip. So
Oh my
I
God,
literally
I remember
had
that.
a day back from China and a day between San Francisco and Kenya.
We all had sore backs. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And we're like going, hey, blah, blah, blah. We
were
love the
about to go
salve,
out
right?
to dinner, and
And one of the guys that was working with us goes, why don't you try the salve? And we're like, well, we didn't know that it was ready because we just had started launching
and we didn't even
products.
have labels on it.
I had the chews and the pellets, but I hadn't seen the salve. The salve came like right from the factory, right? And so I put a little on and I'm like, oh, this kind of smells good.
And we both put it on our backs.
I put it on my spine at probably bladder 23 and GV4, if you'd like to know the points. And I could feel my body absorbing the CBD and the essential oils that are in the sap, and it went down my sciatic on both sides of my legs. I
Both
could
of us
feel it go down.
felt it
You
go.
could feel it go down.
It actually went to my upper back also.
And what did I say, Joan?
Fook.
Fook! This is a GD miracle. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Right? So in the middle of the night, I wake up and my upper back is screaming, right? And I'm like, my lower back feels great. I put some more on. Luckily, I grabbed the stash. I think we had like 5 jars, and that was it. I grabbed some. I put it on, and I could feel it go back up. What happens is...
Yeah, we were using a little bit because we only had a little bit.
It was like a little chewing gum piece. We were
Right.
passing back and forth.
Because we had only so much, we had the samples needed to stay in the boot, so we literally had like
A squidgen.
that much, yeah.
But it went up my spine, and what it does is it finds the inflammation. Where there's inflammation, there's blood flow, and so it goes in the blood flow to where it needs to be, and then it just quiets all that inflammation and just quiets all that blood flow, like immediately.
No, this stuff is...
You know, especially if it's an acute injury. If it's chronic injury, it takes a little bit longer, okay? But an acute injury, if you get it on like that,
Yeah,
it's gone. The inflammation doesn't even come.
yeah, no, I mean, you live on a farm by yourself, you're like banging up against stuff. I mean,
Well, you have a video of what happened to you.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't think I was going to let you get away without sharing that story, did you?
I was taking a video out there, and Abby and Delilah ran up to the top, and then they came running down. They were running right at me, and all you see is like Abby like this, and then you hear ugh, because she hit my knee. My knee went backwards, and the camera goes like that, and then there was cussing. And so, and then I turned it off. And so then I crawled back to the house, and there was a gal that I knew that was the one that turned us on to the products, who was in town, and she was going to stay with me. I called her, I said, well, I'll be on crutches. And she's a horse person, lives in the UK. So she said, I'll come do your chores. So she gets here, and she, walks my dogs, feeds the horses, but gives me the CBD to put on my knee. And then I was like, that is crazy, because I avoided surgery on this knee 1,000,000 years ago from a ski accident right before my wedding. And also, I gained weight because I couldn't move around because I was on crutches then. Yeah, so I barely got my dress for my own wedding. Anyway, so I know what it took to heal this knee and what it took to not do surgery. And so when that worked like that, I'm still just blown away by that. And then she said, do you know anyone that would want to do something with CBD and animals? And I'm like, no, I don't. And about 2 hours later, Jill called about something, trying to get me to go up to Sonoma.
Yeah, to go to Sonoma at the horse show. I was going there. And
I was like, oh my God, Jill, wait, would you want to? And then here we are. So that was it. My answer is always, no, I don't know. No.
No.
When?
Yeah, what time?
Let's talk about it maybe one more time.
So anyway, we did it so then we were in. But,
yeah, can we talk about the oral stuff a little bit?
We have 15 minutes and Joan has to teach.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. But what's the oral stuff?
The stuff we put in our mouth. Animal pellets.
Oh.
And animal chews, or pet chews. Well, they're really dog and cat chews.
Yeah.
So those are our other, we call them edibles. I call them oral,
whatever. And explain about the whole pellet, the sanctuary pellet. So if you do go on the site, and it's called sanctuary pellets because
we have two different types of pellets, but they're actually the same thing. The animal pellets, and basically it's hemp. It's like a little alfalfa pellet instead of being alfalfa. It's pure hemp. There's a little bit of apple flavoring, all natural, organic as far as the farming. And we had to label it differently for California because California calls horses food animals. So now we have sanctuary pellets for sanctuary animals that are never going to go into the food chain, so that we can get around that law so that animals who will never enter the food chain can still get CBD, because CBD works so well and it's so good for animals. I mean, you don't even know, when we were AAEP like a million years ago, 5, 4, whatever it was, there were people telling me about CBD and laminitis and how if they didn't have CBD, their dog, their horse would be gone, because it helps with the inflammation. It helps with the inflammation, and if you get it on board, I mean, it helps so many things. I mean, so many things. And then the pet chews are cat or dog, because of course
My cats love those.
Yeah, my cats eat them.
Yeah, and my dogs love them. Vixie Elizabeth is not happy about thunderstorms or 4th of July. She comes and asks me for them. She just comes up and's like, hey. And I can't hear it because she hears it way before me. And I stop and I listen and I look out. Oh, pet chew. Here you go.
But, I mean, animals are going to know the barometric pressure change is going to be 12 hours before they start acting funny. I mean, at least when I lived in Florida, I knew in the morning we were going to have a big thunderstorm because Olivia in the morning would start panting and doing her thing.
Yeah, they're just feeling it.
Yeah.
You know? And if you get it in then I would, get some oral stuff or edible in them. The edibles are actually, in my opinion, better because CBD is known to be absorbed better with a meal. So if you have an edible, you've already got a little snack involved, right? So they've got a snack, it gets absorbed, goes into the system, lasts somewhere between 6, 8, 12 hours. Every animal is a little bit different. Got to play with the dose a little bit to find that perfect dose. They're finding that the anxiety dose is a lot lower than the arthritis or the pain dose. The seizure dose is a little different, but every animal is a little bit different, especially if they're already on medications, especially if they've got some issues with digestion. And this helps digestion. It helps IBD, right? They're showing that it helps IBD in people, right? I have so many animals, cats especially. You want to talk about the cat poop, the hempy poop? When you first give a cat
Oh my God.
the chews, if they've never had them before, I always warn people, you're going to get a lot of shit in that litter box because the inflammation goes and they poop and they poop and they poop and then they get normal. And then you find out, guess what? My cat probably had some IBD or the beginning of IBD if you didn't already know it.
Well, humans too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People are like, oh, I stopped taking it because I kept pooping. I'm like,
take more.
Take more.
So speaking of humans, Tanya says, I've taken the pellets myself. So has Shannon. Shannon says, me too, Tanya. I accidentally took a horse dose. Remember what? I was on my way here. I took a horse dose of the sanctuary pellets and I'm driving and I felt like all of a sudden my shoulders, I have a lot of tension. I carry all my tension in my shoulders. I have a nasty knot that it just, I was like, wow, my shoulders feel warm and fuzzy and loose, but my head was clear. Like it wasn't like I was, my shoulders just.
ADD, right? I mean, and that's one of the other things CBD is known for, helping ADD and helping ADHD as far as helping with your concentration.
That's why so many people smoke pot.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And for tension headaches, that is my go-to. The other day I have a hurt shoulder. My husband, his mantra has been, have you taken the CBD? Did you take the pellets? Did you take the pellets? That's his first go-to with a headache is the pellets.
Right.
I mean, when I say everyone in my house uses Jill and Joan CBD, I mean 2-legged, 4-legged, everyone. Barnaby's obsessed with the chews. I have to hide them because he gets into them and eats a whole bag if he can.
We have cats that break into them. Remember, we got that one email. My cat just ate 5 chews. Is he going to die? Like, nobody's going to poop a lot tomorrow.
Penelope ate a whole bag, remember?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Sue Harris and I, years ago, we got all these, I wanted to put samples out.
For the intensive.
And we sat over at the dining room table. There might have been wine. The wine and pellets. Oh my God. It was like it was fun.
Yeah. Shannon says it's euphoric. It is. It just feels like it melts.
It melts that tension away. It's calming. It's so calming.
Okay. So let's see. I want to make sure. So we have if you want to fly into LA or Burbank, you can make it for the acupressure class this weekend.
This Friday.
Yeah.
Come join us.
We
It's
have
gonna be so
5
fun.
elements starting on the 17th. We have the spring intensive coming up. We have the Silva method. When does that start?
Sometime soon.
I have it.
Yeah, I think it's next week, right? Leah's taking it, aren't you, Leah? When is it? And I want to say about the Silva method. It really is. If you can't get to animal communication until, if you want to start animal communication and you can't get to it until the spring intensive or April 26th, whatever our AC level 1, it is one of the best ways. And we do have a special right now. If you're going to take a class coming up, we've got a few bonuses. But what I would say is that the Silva method is one of the best ways to really bring your mind down and be able to get quiet and be an animal communicator.
Yeah,
It's
the
a great
Silva-
way to learn to meditate. If
If you-
you're struggling with meditation.
Yeah. The Silva method, I always say it put my animal communication and energy healing on steroids. So I'm looking right now. It's taking a minute. The interwebs are slow on my computer right now.
The interwebs.
March 20th.
March 20th. Okay, so.
And it's 8 afternoons total, ending March 30th.
Okay, it is the best. It is the best, the best, the best. So if you're wanting to go into animal communication or energy healing, or if you already do it, it is profound. And you'll be, we have a class next fall with Lee in person called Silva, Scalar, and Psychic Surgery.
Ooh.
And that's going to be here in person right before Botswana,
I'm gonna have to
Namibia,
come back for
and
that.
Zimbabwe. Yeah, it'll be fun.
I
It'll be
can't
really
wait for
fun.
that. So I'm looking here. If you have questions about any of the bonuses and all that, you can email Shannon. The Silva method link is on the website, but I could certainly post it here. Okay, but we have to go because you have to teach.
Okay. All right, everybody. See you soon. Thank you.
I will post the links in the live. Bye, everybody.
Bye.